Unbelievable ancient laws you never knew existed. Shocking truth about our history forever. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long, eerie shadows over the crumbling ruins of what once was an ancient civilization. An air of mystery clung heavily to the ground, like the fog that rolled in off the sea on a chilling autumn night. What if I told you that beneath those stones were secrets buried long ago, secrets so shocking they could change everything we thought we knew about our past? Legend has it that there were laws so bizarre, they could turn your hair white in disbelief. Imagine a society where a man could be sentenced to death just for sneezing at a royal banquet. Or consider, in another land, the law that demanded a woman could not leave her house without her husband's permission unless she was wearing a goat's skull on her head. These aren't just strange tales, they're real, recorded in ancient texts and passed down through generations. In the dim light, the remnants of strange symbols etched into stone whispered of these odd regulations, each one more perplexing than the last. What did those people think, obeying such ridiculous rules? Did they feel as trapped as we do at times, even in our modern world? As you walked along the cracked pathways, a spine-chilling breeze rustled the weeds, making you question what past inhabitants lived and breathed amidst the very laws that seemed to mock the concept of freedom. Could they have ever imagined that thousands of years later, people would dig through the ashes of their lives, desperate to understand them? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the shadows grew longer, the feeling of something sinister crept in. The ground seemed to pulse beneath you, as if the ruins themselves were waking up to reveal even darker laws, hidden from plain sight. What if, just maybe, some of these laws still echoed in our own lives? The thought hung heavy in the air, leaving you breathless and questioning everything. What else could be lurking in the echoes of history, waiting for the chance to surface? How deep does this rabbit hole go? With every step through the ruins, an unsettling energy filled the air. You couldn't shake off the feeling that the past was alive, watching, waiting. Shadows danced across the stone walls, and with every rustle of the dried leaves, it felt as if secrets were whispering right into your ears. What if the things that had been buried weren't just strange laws, but something more malevolent? Ahead, you spotted an opening, a dark crevice between two massive stone slabs. An unexplainable urge pushed you to move closer. The chill of the wind intensified, creeping down your spine, almost as if it were a warning. You hesitated, heart racing, almost begging your mind to let go of this strange curiosity. But compulsion overruled fear as you stepped through the jagged entrance. Inside, the light faded to an almost complete darkness. Your pulse quickened as you fumbled for steady ground, feeling the cool, rough texture of the wall. Suddenly, you felt a shudder ripple through your whole body. It wasn't just fear, it was the weight of history pressing against your chest. The air thickened, heavy with the sense of mold and decay, lingering reminders of those who came before. A faint glimmer caught your eye. Deep in the gloom, something glistening lay half buried in the dirt. You edged closer, your breath shallow and quick. You kneeled down, brushing away the soil, revealing a small, intricately crafted pendant. It was adorned with symbols so alien yet familiar, twisted representations of eyes and mouths, perhaps echoes of the ancient laws long forgotten. As your fingers traced the cold metal, a shock surged through your body. A vision struck, flashes of an ancient tribunal, faces twisted in horror as bizarre sentences were pronounced. This pendant was more than a mere trinket, it felt like a key, one that unlocked not just history but something dark and twisted buried beneath it. What had these people done to deserve such laws? Were they protecting themselves from a curse, or were they the origin of something vile? You could almost hear the desperate cries of those who had lived through those times ringing in your ears. Their pain called out from the centuries, wrapping you in a tight embrace of dread. Suddenly, the pendant slipped from your grip, clattering loudly against the stone floor. The sound echoed, rebounding off the crumbling walls like a tragic note in a sorrowful song. And in that moment, the darkness shifted. The ground quaked underfoot as if disturbed by a force long sleeping. Faint whispers began surrounding you, growing louder, forming a cacophony of incomprehensible shouts. You staggered back, heart hammering in your chest, realizing that perhaps you had unwittingly disturbed something malevolent. The ancient laws that shaped lives now seemed to have awakened, and you were right in their path. As the darkness began to swirl, a cold voice floated to your ears: those who unearth the past must be willing to face its consequences. Your skin prickled with fear. There was no turning back now. With every breath, you understood that the fate of the present might just lay entwined with the past. But what would be demanded from you? What next would this ancient world unveil? The chilling thought hovered, a shattering question. Were you about to uncover a truth meant to remain hidden, or unleash a darkness worse than you could imagine? The whispers crescendoed, scraping at your consciousness like nails on a chalkboard. You could feel the oppressive darkness pressing in, a suffocating weight that made it hard to breathe. Desperation clawed at you, urging you to escape. But your feet felt glued to the ground, and your heart raced as a wave of clarity washed over you, revealing the terrible truth. This place was not just lost history, it was imprisoned malice. A sudden gust of air sent an icy shiver through your bones, lifting the fallen pendant effortlessly, hovering just out of reach. It glimmered ominously, casting erratic shadows that nevertheless felt almost pleading. In that moment, the whispers coalesced, a painful chorus that spoke of punishment, sacrifice, and an insatiable hunger for justice. Or was it revenge? Who are you? You shouted, your voice breaking the spell of chaos, but uncertainty danced within you, clashing against your resolve. An answer seemed to tremble just beyond the veil of darkness. Silenced, the echo of your own question hung in the air as you waited, breath bated, heart stalking the wild rhythm of fear. The darkness thickened, shrouding the crevice deeper. You turned, searching for an exit, a way to flee this maddening void, but it felt as though the walls were closing in, twisting wordlessly. You couldn't help but feel that the ruins themselves were alive, disapproving, judging. Pedestaled memories of pain lurked within the rocks, breathing down your neck, and then, as if conjured by desperation, a form began to emerge from the depths, the ethereal outline of a figure, barely discernible against the black backdrop. Its eyes, hollow yet filled with an intensity you didn't understand, scrutinized you. A chill knotted in your stomach, and you felt bile rise. It pointed to the pendant, now glowing with a surreal, sickly light. With a trembling hand, you reached for it, the urge nearly consuming you. An imminent sense of doom settled within you. What was it about this tarnished relic that held such power? Would embracing it bring understanding, or would it draw you deeper into calamity? In that moment, the figure's voice flowed through the air, deep and resonant. You seek answers, but do you understand the laws of consequence? A twisting panic filled your lungs. Consequences. You replayed the words in your mind like an incantation. What were the rules? What laws governed the souls entwined within these stones? You needed clarity, you needed to know, but as you grasped the pendant, darkness surged violently around you, a whirlpool of despair that pulled you into its center. Visions flashed through your mind of lives lived, lost, and forgotten. Faces appeared and disappeared, each twisted in anguish, each marked by the ancient laws. You screamed, but the sound was swallowed. Everything blurred around you, the line between your reality and the revelations becoming indistinct. In an awful realization, it hit you hard. The darkness was not just a reaction to your presence, it was feeding off your fears and uncertainties. With quaking hands, you released the pendant, but the whispers pressed in, threatening to consume you. The spectral figure leaned closer, its gaze unrelenting. Embrace it, or be consumed by what you dread most. As the world around you began to fold and distort, panic seeped back into your veins. You had stumbled into a dangerous game, where survival hinged not only on unearthing the past but also on confronting the shadows it cast. What awaited you still lurked in this darkness? Would you endure to discover the full extent of these ancient laws, or would your fate be sealed in the very consequences you feared? The shadows rippled with life, and as uncertainty paralyzed you, a final, chilling thought wrapped around your mind. Perhaps the law was not merely a relic of the past, perhaps it was a living curse demanding retribution. Will you dare to uncover the truth behind this malevolence, or will you be the next victim of the whispers? The darkness erupted into a piercing scream, a cacophony that shattered every remaining semblance of clarity. Your heart pounded like a tribal drum, every beat echoing the despair surrounding you. You stumbled backward, hands gripping the cool, crumbling wall for support. The shadows contorted as if they had a mind of their own, drawing nearer, suffocating. "Let go!" A voice screamed. Was it yours? The air turned electric, life crackled and popped with untold energy. You could feel the walls pulsing, as if they were alive. The spectral figure lunged towards you, an echo of pain and despair lingering in its hollow eyes, a silent scream for help or perhaps a warning. With all your strength, you turned and bolted. Each step felt like running through molasses, the air heavy with the stench of decay and desperation. You didn't know where you were going, you just had to escape. Thoughts raced through your mind. What did it mean to embrace the darkness? Was it about absorbing the malice, or defying it? Suddenly, the whispers transformed, becoming distinct, words clawing their way into your clarity. You can't escape, you're part of the story. A shudder chilled your bones. You skidded to a stop, every sense on alert. This wasn't just madness, it was manipulation. You felt your chest tighten, a heavy weight pressing down. Were these voices remnants of the souls trapped in this cursed place? You turned on your heels, fighting against the invisible hands that gripped your mind. "What do you want from me?" You shouted, desperation lacing your voice. The shadows paused, as if awaiting a response. Were they listening? Could they be reasoned with? Silence stretched, heavy and pregnant with unsaid truths. And then it came, a low rumble that started deep within the structure. The walls trembled, sending dust raining down like cursed confetti. The figure materialized again, closer now, its presence blending both pity and rage. "Choices were made long ago," it said, voice low and thunderous. "The laws bind us all, those who suffered, and now you." A desperation to understand consumed you. You grabbed at your memories, thoughts spiraling. What laws? Why me? With sudden clarity, the figure reached one ghostly finger towards you, and a vivid vision slammed into place. You were trapped in a cycle, a thread woven into the very fabric of this malevolent history, a history of sacrifice for power, of betrayal feeding the dark hunger, of blood spilled in the name of vengeance. You gasped, recognition flooding in. "I didn't choose this." You cried out. The figure tilted its head, eyes narrowing. "But you can choose now. Will you confront the darkness or be swallowed by it?" An icy wave washed over you, and you stumbled as the weight of your decision loomed large. The whispers began again, now more insistent, pressing you toward the pendant lying just out of reach. Everything in you screamed to run, but imprisoned souls begged you to come closer, to break the cycle. Heart racing, you inched forward, cautious but compelled. The glow intensified, illuminating the depths of the shadows, revealing faces twisted in anguish, eyes wide with fear, yet hopeful. "Embrace it," the chorus of voices echoed, rising in a haunting chorus of longing. "Embrace us, and change everything." As you grasped the pendant, an electric shock shot through your veins. Pain exploded at your fingertips, and the shadows screamed a thunderous response to your choice. The darkness surged, pushing you to the edge of existence. You wondered if you were losing yourself, or finally finding the strength to become something more. Then it hit you, a truth buried beneath layers of darkness. What if the darkness was not the true enemy? What if it was a manifestation of your own fears? As reality twisted around you, chaos erupted, and an image of a single door began forming a way out, or a possibility to sever the ties to this wretched fate. But as the images flickered, a moment of clarity struck you hard. The choice would not just save you, but could rewrite the history that haunted this place. Would you push through and discover the real truth of these laws, or would you fall prey to them, eternally bound to the darkness? With the pendant clasped tightly in your palm, the answer lingered on the tip of your tongue like sweet salvation sheen over bitter pain. The moment hung there, heavy and taut. What lay beyond that door from which the whispers beckoned you? A tremor rippled through the air and the shadows twisted, their edges bleeding into one another as if they were alive. You felt a magnetic pull toward the door, an invisible force that made your skin tingle and your breath hitch in your throat. Would stepping through it bring the answers you so desperately sought, or would it plunge you further into the abyss? Holding the pendant, you took a tentative step toward the glowing portal. The whispers crescendoed, a frenzied cacophony urging you on. You have the power. They cried, voices overlapping in a haunting symphony of hope and despair. In a moment of madness, you glanced back at the spectral figure, its hollow eyes still fixed on you, emotion swirling between pity and challenge. If you turn away, you seal your fate, it warned, voice echoing ominously, shaking the very air around you. Your heart felt like it was about to burst. The weight of countless souls trapped here pressed on your chest, heavy and suffocating. You could almost see their faces, pale and twisted with fear. In that instant, the realization struck deep: this wasn't just about you. It was a collective fate, one that had spun for centuries, caught in a cycle of suffering and entrapment. Taking a deep breath, you turned and faced the door once more. Its light was blinding, illuminating the darkness swirling around you. Everything in you screamed to run, to hide, but you felt the pull of determination igniting your spirit. Enough! You shouted, the word piercing through the tumult. I choose to confront it. With renewed resolve, you plunged forward, not fully prepared for the shock that jolted through you as you crossed the threshold. The world around you shimmered, colors twisting, reality bending. For a moment, it felt like you were surfing on waves of chaos, the essence of time and space swirling like a storm. Then it hit you, an explosion of light and sound. You landed hard on solid ground, gasping for breath. You looked around, disoriented. You were no longer in that suffocating dark corridor but in a vast chamber lined with ancient symbols and glowing runes. The air buzzed with energy, a tang that made your skin prickle. But you weren't alone. Figures stood to the corners, cloaked in garments that flowed like shadows between the light, faces obscured. Their eyes glinted with an otherworldly knowledge, and you sensed they held the answers you sought. Welcome, one said, voice smooth and resonant, echoing off stone walls. You've come to learn of the laws that bind us. Are you ready to discover the truth of your lineage, and the choice that binds us all? With a lump in your throat, you nodded, your heart racing. What do you mean? What lineage? What choice? Another figure stepped forward, the air shifting as it moved. Your ancients knew the darkness and embraced the pain, it continued, voice low and melodic. It granted them power, but at a price. Will you continue the legacy? Will you embrace it, or fight to break free? The voices echoed around you, a blend of warning and invitation. A sudden anxiety gripped you as the shadows appeared to follow you, swirling around the chamber. You could feel them clawing at your psyche, your past threatening to swallow you whole. The adrenaline surged. Here stood the crux of it all: would you step into your inherited destiny, or would you forge a new path? Glimpses of the past flashed through your mind: betrayals, cries for help, sacrifices. You felt the weight of decisions made long before you were born. The choice loomed, darker than the shadows that danced around you. But beyond that, another question emerged, echoing in the depths of your mind. What if by uncovering the truth, you could rewrite history not just for yourself, but for every soul captured in this cycle of despair? The world held its breath, waiting for your answer. What would you choose? You stood in the chamber, your heart pounding as the shadows pressed closer, their whispers now a maddening hum. The cloaked figures watched you, their eyes glinting with anticipation, as if they were waiting for the scales to tip in some unimaginable balance. The air thickened with tension, each breath a reminder of the immense choice before you. Your lineage flows through you, the first figure said, their face obscured but somehow familiar. To embrace it is to harness the power of ages. But know this, power is but a shadow of what it seems. It feeds on the darkness inside. A chill ran down your spine. You held your pendant tighter, the cool metal grounding you in the face of rising dread. Questions churned in your mind. What darkness? Was it the fears of your own heart or the hauntings of your ancestors? The second figure stepped into the light. Your ancestors forged futures. They rose in the face of despair, they fought battles that raged beyond mortal comprehension. His voice trembled with intensity. Will you honor their legacy or redefine it? An image crossed your mind, a vast battlefield, souls locked in combat, light clashing against darkness. Was that your fate? Listen. It was a female voice crackling through the discord. This is not merely about heritage. You possess within you the ability to break the chains that bind our ancestors. But only if you dare to choose. The shadows surged, thickening like a fog, and a horrid screech echoed from the walls, a cacophony of lost souls screaming for release. You stumbled backward, heart racing, hands clammy as you fought to steady your resolve. What if turning away meant sentencing them to another cycle of suffering? Choose. The voices cried, blending in frantic harmony. Embrace the darkness, or forge a new path. The choice is yours. You looked around. The chamber felt alive, pulsing with energy, the runes glowing brighter. If I choose to fight, you said, voice trembling but clear, what will happen to those who came before me? The first figure closed their eyes as if absorbing your question. Their shadows haunt this realm, waiting for liberation. You hold the key, a choice that could shatter the chains or perpetuate the torment. You took a cautious step closer. And if I succumb to the darkness? What price will I pay? A silence fell, heavy and thick like fog. Everything you hold dear, the second figure whispered. You would lose yourself, your memories, your essence trapped in a cycle of despair. Fear wove through you, but something else blazed: determination. The suffocating grip of the past could not define you. No more. You shouted, your voice echoing around the chamber, firm despite the tremor in your chest. I will fight. The shadows screamed and surged violently, the room quaking. The figures drew back, surprise flickering across their hidden faces. Very well. The first figure declared, a keen edge of approval slicing through the tension. Prepare yourself. The journey begins, but the path may lead you to unspeakable truths. Suddenly, the walls shimmered, and images flashed, flashes of a world twisted, people you once knew, battles raging in their eyes, and pain splintering every part of history. A moment of clarity sliced through your confusion. Could those truths be what you needed to break the cycle? And then, the floor beneath you trembled as you felt another strange compulsion, a new call to action. Glancing around, the figures blurred and warped, whispering a new urgency. Seek the heart of darkness, they urged, voices rising to a fever pitch. Only there will you find the truth. With that, the air around you crackled as a portal began to form, dark and swirling like the shadows before. Your breath quickened. Was this the next step? Or was it an even deeper descent into the unknown? You took a step toward the portal, pulse racing. Would the truth set you free, or would it awaken something more terrifying? With one last glance at the figures, you leaped. As you plunged into the darkness, hard in your throat, the world around you began to pulse with sinister energy. What awaited on the other side? The darkness enveloped you like a cold mist, wrapping around your limbs and squeezing the breath from your lungs. As you fell, you felt weightless yet tethered like a phantom caught between lives. The air grew thick, clinging to your skin and drawing you deeper into its depths. Moments stretched, feeling both eternal and agonizingly brief. Just when despair threatened to consume you, you landed with a thud, the impact jarring your body. You gasped for air, but the stench of decay and stagnant energy clawed at your throat. Wiping your eyes, the darkness began to recede, revealing a desolate landscape. An abandoned city sprawled before you. Tall, jagged shadows of buildings loomed like stalagmites from a twisted underworld. Ghostly ruins, draped in weeping shadows, echoed with whispers of the long past. A faint light flickered in the distance, pulsating like a heartbeat, beckoning you to approach. You tentatively walked forward, the ground crunching underfoot. Each step echoed, disturbing the silence that seemed to cling to the remnants of the past. The whispers grew louder, swirling around you. It was then you recognized the familiar tones of your ancestors, a chorus of voices mixed with haunting wails from those once lost. Find the heart, they chanted, urgency rippling through their ethereal pleas. It is the key, to break the curse. Every corner of the city revealed fragments of its history, pictures of battles fought, sorrows unleashed, sacrifices made. You stumbled upon a cracked mural featuring a fierce warrior, their face eerily similar to yours, standing tall against a shadowy figure, so colossal it seemed to devour the light itself. The connection stirred something deep in you. Could this warrior be an ancestor? Were you meant to follow in their footsteps or forge your own path? The thought struck your mind like lightning. As you inched closer to the flickering light, the whispers intensified, intertwining with the memories of pain and loss. Shadows darted just beyond the edges of your vision, the souls roaming, restless. Help us, they begged. Influence the outcome. A tear prickled your eye, the weight of their suffering heavy on your heart. They deserved liberation, and the burden felt like a knife twisting within you. On impulse, you raised your pendant, the metal warm against your palm. I will help you. You shouted, voice raw with conviction. As if responding to your pledge, the ground trembled beneath you. The glowing light pulsed harder, rhythmic and insistent. You felt a power surge through your veins, a whisper of potential, and a brief flash of the warrior's face illuminated in your mind, fierce determination radiating from their eyes. Then, a sudden eruption of laughter echoed, a sinister sound that shattered the fragility of the moment. Shadows twisted in panic. From the depths of the darkness surged a figure cloaked in malevolence, its form shifting as if it was both alive and part of the very darkness itself. Foolish child, the creature hissed, a voice imbued with venom. You think you can change fate? Your ancestors are bound to the dark. They thrive in it. Terror gripped you, but the newfound strength tingled beneath your skin. No. I refuse to accept this. You held your ground, heart racing in defiance. But as you stood firm, the figure raised a hand, and you felt that tugging at your very essence, the call of the darkness, alluring yet terrifying. Would you surrender? In that pivotal moment of reckoning, the light pulsed again, igniting bright against the shadows. What would you become, a warrior to be feared, or a pawn in an unending game of despair? Everything hinged on that choice. No. You yelled, feeling the pulse of your blood rise against the oppressive grasp of the creature. I'll forge my own destiny. The figure recoiled, a flicker of uncertainty marring its features. But the darkness tightened around you, demanding your submission. Would it be enough to resist? The choice loomed before you like a red-hot brand awaiting your touch. And then, a sudden force burst from within, sending you crashing against the glowing light. What lay in its depths? Was it salvation or an even darker truth? Only one way to find out. You lunged toward the light, heart racing, determined to uncover your fate. The light enveloped you like a warm embrace, bright and rejuvenating. It pulled you in, a whirlpool of energy, blurring the edges of your vision. You felt the tangled threads of fate unraveling, the weight of the darkness slipping from your grasp. But just as swiftly, the warmth faded, and the ground beneath transformed from solidity to mist. You fell again, but this time the descent felt deeper, more disorienting. Panic clawed at you as the light dimmed to an eerie glow, revealing a vast expanse of shimmering mist. As your feet met the surface, you felt a jolt, a sensation as if the very ground struggled against you, as if it were alive. What is this place? You murmured, breath quickening. The landscape shifted, revealing dreamlike formations of light and shadow that danced just out of reach. Was this limbo? A realm where lost souls wandered, caught between time and intentions? Who dares disturb my domain? The voice cut through the air, sharp and unsettling, sending chills racing down your spine. The mist formed into a figure, ethereal and menacing, an elegant silhouette draped in flowing robes that seemed to absorb light. Your light awakened me, child of the cursed, it intoned, dripping with an unsettling melody. You think merely stepping into the light can free you? You are not alone, many have tried. Swallowing hard, a sense of urgency sparked within you. I'm not trying to escape, I'm here to help. The figure tilted its head, eyes swirling with a mix of bright starlight and impenetrable darkness. It laughed softly, and the sound felt like 1,000 little chains rattling in the air. Help? You wish to break the ties binding your ancestors to the dark? To undo the ancient laws woven into existence? You have no idea what you're asking. Yes, I do. Your voice trembled, but you pushed forward. I've seen their suffering. They deserve freedom. The figure's expression hardened. Freedom cannot be granted lightly. The heart you seek to change is a heart of sacrifice, and to unravel such ties demands an exchange. Are you willing to give everything? A cold knot formed in your stomach. Everything? What would it cost? You recalled the warrior's face, bravely standing against the darkness, their fierce determination igniting something within you. Could you truly possess that same strength? Choices create destinies, child, the figure whispered, stepping closer, its presence enveloping you with a weight that pressed against your chest. Yet every choice has a consequence. Are you prepared to face your past and bear the burden of the curse that courses through your blood? I have to try. The words fell from your lips, filled with reckless determination. For them, for me. A flicker of hope ignited within your heart, mingled with dread. If your ancestors were bound by darkness, you'd grapple with the unknown to break those chains, but it could shackle you as well. Remember, there are shadows even in the light, the figure warned, a hint of something unnameable lurking beneath its ethereal form. Follow your heart, but tread wisely. The path you choose may not be the one you expect. With a wave of the figure's hand, swirling images burst to life around you, flashes of past battles, desperation, and loss, binding your spirit to the echoes of those long gone. And before you could fully process what was happening, the ground shifted violently beneath you, fracturing along the seams of your very reality. The mist began to swirl, forming into silhouettes, voices rising and falling like an ancient prayer. Would the path ahead restore your lineage, or plunge you into a fate worse than despair? The ground quaked as you steadied yourself, heart pounding with every beat. In that moment, you knew a choice was close at hand, an even darker truth lurking just beyond your reach. Choose wisely, child, for your next step will define the very soul of your existence. And just like that, the world around you plunged into chaotic silence, as if waiting for the weight of your decision to sway the very fabric of fate. Would you dive into the depths of darkness to find the light, or turn back now, sealing your ancestors' fate forever? The silence pressed heavily upon you, thick as the mist enveloping the bizarre landscape. It was disorienting, like stepping into a dream that refused to wake you up. The air crackled, vibrating with tension, and your heart raced in response. What was the price of freedom? What would you have to sacrifice? The face of the figure twisted through your mind, its swirling eyes haunting you. You felt as if it could see right through to your core, examining your very soul. The whispers of your ancestors echoed softly in the back of your mind, their desperate pleas merging with the burden of your own thoughts. Every heartbeat screamed for clarity, for a reason to move forward. Suddenly, sharp images tore through the fog, vibrant yet jarring. Faces flashed before you, loved ones, allies, and enemies alike. They bled into one another, a tumultuous blend of joy and sorrow, their pain palpable. Each soul seemed to reach out, fingers stretching toward you, begging for resolution. You stumbled back, the ground shifting like water beneath you, causing you to lose your balance. "No!" you gasped. "I won't abandon you." The silhouettes reacted, some fading back into the mist, while others surged forward, bright flames of determination igniting within their forms. Their voices rose again, a heavenly choir filled with longing. It gave you courage, and somehow, the air felt charged with possibility. The figure stepped closer, murmuring low and hypnotic. Its voice rolled over you like a wave, pulling you down and wrapping you in its silky embrace. Do you see them? They are not merely echoes of the past, they are the ties that bind you. They define your essence, and your destiny. Will you embrace the darkness available to you, or fight in the light that seems so elusive? "Fighting the darkness is why I'm here," you declared, your voice rising above the tumult. "I will not let their legacy be consumed by despair." As the words left your lips, the mist split open, revealing two distinct paths. One glowed dimly, a winding corridor cloaked in shadows, filled with whispers that twisted and curled like smoke. The other shone a brilliant white, bright enough to banish the darkness, yet flickering uncertainly, as if it yearned for strength. You hesitated, your logical mind battling with your racing heart. Which path could lead to what you sought? And with each passing second, the figure's expression morphed into unreadable intensity, daring you to decide. "Choose," it demanded, voice echoing like thunderclouds rolling in. "The weight of your ancestors calls you, make your choice, for retreating is not an option." Your chest tightened, the weight of their legacy was heavy, a burden forged of love and loss. What if you made the wrong choice? But with each heartbeat, the urgency pressed against your ribcage, demanding action. You couldn't just stand there. You had to act. Stumbling forward, you took a step toward the glowing path, drawn by a magnetic pull that made your skin tingle. But just before you crossed the threshold, the shadows from the darker path writhed like tentacles, whispering softly, seductively. "Come, child. Let us unravel the truth you've been shielded from." Your breath hitched. Maybe the answers you sought lay within the darkness. The moment stretched, filled with an unsettling mix of fear and curiosity. What would you uncover if you ventured deeper into the depths? Would uncovering your family's buried secrets grant you the power to achieve the freedom you sought, or would you find yourself swallowed by the very shadows you yearned to destroy? Two haunting choices lay before you, and with one fateful breath, you understood this was only the beginning. Which path would you choose? Would you dive deeper into the darkness to reclaim your family's legacy, or dash toward the light that promised safety and hope? The echoes of your ancestors swirled around you, murmuring both warnings and encouragement. You felt the weight of countless decisions ahead, history pressing down on your shoulders like an anchor. With a heart pounding, you took a step toward the glimmering path. Every instinct urged you forward, urging you back toward the light that flickered with promise, hope and freedom entwined in its radiant glow. But the shadows whispered sweet temptations, caressing your mind, coaxing you to explore the depths of your lineage. "Come to us, unlock the dark truths," they hissed, shadows swirling like smoke that curled up and kissed your skin. The pull was palpable, urging you to dig deeper, to find answers tangled within the blood and sorrow of the past. You wavered, the conflicting energies tugging at your heartstrings. But you remembered the despair you felt in that ancient chamber, the souls pleading for release. You recalled your commitment. Those ancestors deserved liberation, not mere stories muddled in darkness. "No!" you shouted, voice ringing with defiance. "I won't let their pain be in vain. I choose the light." As the proclamation echoed into the mist, a radiant pulse surged from the pathway, enveloping you in warmth. The shadows shrieked, twisted faces flickering into view for just a moment, a kaleidoscope of anguished souls, and then they faded, clinging desperately to the darkness you were leaving behind. With newfound determination, you pressed forward, each step toward the growing light filling you with more courage. The luminescence brightened, illuminating your path. The whispers transformed, no longer taunting but now intertwining with hope, urging you forward. You are worthy, you are powerful. You broke free from the suffocating grip of doubts and fears, sprinting toward the light before you. It swelled around you, vibrant and electrifying, shimmering like a curtain of diamonds. The shadows shrieked behind you, their cries morphing into a howl of exasperation, and you felt the loss of their grasp, but also their lingering pain. Just as you crossed completely into the brilliance, an exhilarating wave crashed over you. You were submerged in a flood of warmth, vibrant colors swaying in waves of brightness. You stood still amidst a realm of almost ethereal beauty, the sky above you rippling with hues you never knew existed, emotions swirling in the air like butterflies. Here, you could almost feel the heartbeat of this place, pulsating along with the breath of every soul intertwined with yours. "Welcome home," a voice cascaded through the atmosphere, resonating with energy. The cloaked figures materialized beside you, no longer silenced by shadows. Their features glowed gently, souls freed from the dark chains that had long held them captive. "You've broken the cycle," one figure said, voice pouring over you like a soothing balm. "You sought the truth, confronted the darkness, and chose to honor your lineage by embracing hope instead of despair." You swayed slightly, a wave of relief washed over you. They were right, you had faced the darkness, but you didn't become part of it. You had chosen to reshape your fate, reclaiming what was rightfully yours while delivering the lingering souls from their torment, but even in the brilliance of this moment, a glimmer of caution remained. "What happens now?" you asked, feeling the weight of potential and the vast tapestry of future decisions hanging over you. "In this realm, you hold the power to reconcile the past," the leader of the figures explained, the warmth in their voice calling you deeper. "Your ancestors can finally rest, and the laws that once bound them can be rewritten with kindness, not fear." With a deep breath, you stepped forward, feeling every ounce of purpose ignite your core. The pendant glowed in your palm, its power merging with your very essence. It pulsed in recognition, a reminder of your journey and the battles fought. "Will you embrace your purpose?" the figure urged, the air thick with anticipation. "Will you carry forth your ancestors' legacy, but with a heart reborn?" The world outside still awaits. Your heart raced, but this time it wasn't fear. It was exhilaration, an invitation to create a new narrative, to become the voice for those who once suffered in silence. You nodded, feeling the weight of your decision steadying your spine. "Yes, I will be the catalyst for change," you declared, fire snapping in your voice. "Together we can challenge the laws of the past and rewrite them for the better." The figures smiled, their faces merging with shadows that shimmered before you. Together, they began to weave spells of essence, patterns shifting in the air, a tapestry of light that intertwined hearts past and present. As the whispers began anew, this time echoes of laughter and freedom filled the air, blossoming under your very feet. You felt connected not just to a singular heritage but to everyone traversing their own treacherous paths, and so, with open arms, you embraced your ancestors' legacy. Here, amidst the brilliance, you reconstructed the law of fate into one that compelled compassion and community. You stepped out of the shimmering realm, heart ablaze, ready to forge connections, spark dialogue, and share the truths of the past with this world once laced with shadows, now bursting with possibilities. The journey ahead would still be fraught with challenges, but this time you'd carry the burden of history not as a weight but as empowerment. Equip yourself with love and understanding to confront darkness wherever it reared its head. The shadows would still exist, whispering. But you knew now they would never win, not when light could unite and potentiate. And so, you walked onward, not just into the light but hand in hand with the many souls that dared to join you, and as you ventured forth, an unmistakable call echoed in the depths of your being, an urging to make history anew. The path was uncertain, but the power was yours. And that, my friend, was truly the beginning of everything. You absolutely need to subscribe now. Don't miss the next wave of exclusive stories. Smash that like button right now, and feed the algorithm so we can keep bringing content you love. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this amazing conclusion. And whatever you do, don't wait even one more second to share this with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. Your support matters. Let us keep this incredible community thriving.